Alright, so I'm doing a video log of my new office. So on the right hand side, I'm going to hang my comic books. Under the window is my desk. And these are the strip lights, $15 each. Alright, so back to another video. Fans on today because it's a hot day. So today I have brought a whole heap of frames. So I'm going to set up some frames today and get the comic book wall ready. So I've got a whole heap of comic books on here. And what are they? I think I've got 16 here. I think I've got another 16 or more, maybe more, hanging at the other house. So they'll be coming here. But I just wanted to get the initial setup underway. So as soon as you get that initial setup going, and what I mean by that is working at your spacings, working out if, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus I've got the bookshelf that overhangs here. So I'm gonna, take out about 15 centimeters there and then have the last one ending here. So it sort of like takes up the whole wall, but there'll be some extra gap left over there so I can evenly see it up. And so once you get that first row in, it really is a matter of just, copying what you've done. I always recommend doing a spreadsheet up. So my spreadsheet it's a 3 meter or 3.3 meter length. If I've got 21 centimeters wide, I can go 210, but if I go by 12, I get up to 252. And if I leave a gap either side, which means I've got 13 gaps, means I've got 6 centimeters in the middle. Really, 6 centimeters might be a bit too little. I would like probably a bigger gap. And plus I'm going to have to work out a gap for that, the light switch and the fan switch. So I might drop it to like 10 or 11 for the whole lot, because I think I've got 40 odd. So I'm probably going to get a good 3 rows out of this. And if I need to, I'll go to the bottom row. So, but yeah. I'll come back and we'll update and do some more. Okay, welcome back. So as you can see, spacing wise, with the 6 centimeter spacing that I wanted in my calculations, it really comes down to, I might want about a 10 centimeter gap. So instead of having like 9 or 10 in a row, or even 12 in my first calculations, I think I'm gonna have 8. As you can see with the 8 one finished here, it's going to line up with a bookshelf. It's going to be fairly well spaced. And yes, I am fairly anal when it comes to trying to be height-wise. But it does make it a lot easier because I'll be using this. It's a 3M Command. What do they call it? It's the frame hangers. So this one hangs 3 different weights. 7.2 kilos, 5.4. and 1.8. I have bought a few of these packs, so here they are here. So let me just show you the smallest ones. So the smallest ones, you get 8 out of them. But theoretically, you're gonna have to put 2 on the wall and 2 on the back of the comic book. So with the bigger ones, I'll chop in half, but with the smaller ones, I won't. I'll use the full ones. Here we go. I have put a comic book in a frame, and so the first one I'll be putting up is in the corner. So hopefully you can see I'll be giving that space for the top and the bottom to make it equal. Then I'll go along and put the rest of these up. So there's little Penny in the shot as always. So let's get hanging the Green Lantern. I'll be back again soon. Okay, welcome back. And so you can see the first comic is hung. What I've done, and also you might be able to just tell, for artistic wise, or design wise, I think it more is, you can't have everything perfect. This gap here is 11 centimeters. I made that gap there 10 centimeters. So if that's the case, then your eye isn't, dragged into being perfection. And the thing about this, let me just walk straight up to it. You can take these things straight off the wall. There's the command strips on the back, the command strips up the top. You just put it on, push in, and the photo stuck to the wall. If it's not straight, if it's not even, if it's too far left to the right by a few mil, you've got a heap of room on the back of the command just to take it off, move it over a few strips, and then slap it back on, and you're done. So that fell off. I didn't even push it on properly because I had the phone in my hand. But there you go, you can hear it just go click. It's like Velcro, but it's not, but it is. And it goes on perfect. So I'll probably just do a montage for here. I'm not going to do this for everyone, but this is the start of getting the comic book wall going. Awesome. Okay, so it looks like I've got myself a little bit of a easy route going here. What I've been doing is coming up here and with my trusty measuring tape, putting it on top, going the exact same distance in every single one. So I'll be able to move across, and then I can check it how deep it is from here. So once I have done that, all I need to do now is bring back the comic book, which now has these on it, turn it around, put it below, and then put the other one up here so I can hang it up. So that bit, because it hangs behind, doesn't need to be perfect. It's the bit at the front that needs to be perfect, but I can't do that with 3 hands. All right, I'll be back with more. Too easy. There it is hung up. Let's do some more. Well, from here, all these comic books that are still need to be put in have got to be now put into all the picture frames and start hanging things up. So that's going to take me a bit. So that'll be my next job. All right. Alrighty, guys. So I thought I'd show you how I go about putting the comic books into the frames. It might seem like a daunting job. It might seem pretty hard, but they're not that hard, darling. I've got my dog on the table, so if she comes into picture frame, it's because she usually sits on the other side of my table and sleeps while I use a computer, of course. So from that side of things, while I'm doing this, and on the back of the picture frames, they come with little tabs. Just need to pull these little tabs up. I was lucky enough as a kid to actually have a friend whose uncle worked at a newsagent. And so that uncle, at the end of the month, used to have to get his money back. And so he used to have to rip the fronts off comic books and newspapers and magazines and all that type of stuff and send them all back. So he used to throw things in the garbage. And we're like, what are you doing? You're throwing away comic books. And so he started giving us all his comic books instead of throwing them in the bin. So I was lucky enough to grow up having, and I still have, hundreds of comic books, but those comic books aren't in any great order because they're missing the front cover. And so they're not worth any resale value. They're not worth anything to anyone but myself, because, you know, that's what I read as a kid. And so being a lot older and, you know, thinking what comic books meant to me, how could I make comic books mean something to me that I've got comics that have got no front cover? You know, I can't put them into any type of album or hang them up or anything like that, because they're just a third page, really. So from that sort of things, I decided to make a wall collage of every comic book that I had as a child, from the month and the year that I was born. And so looking online, I was finding comic books for like $2, $4, $5. And I actually got in and found there was like 50 or 60 comic books made in the year that I was born, which was March. And there were comic books that was come out in March and April, because it was bi-monthly. And I wouldn't buy the ones that didn't have the word March in it. So this is where I've got something like 40 comic books at the moment. So yep, that's one comic book down. I'll have to frame the rest and we'll get back into the wall. All right, end of part 1. So as you can see, the comic books are all put up. I've got none left in the box. This is everything that I've brought from my other office, which is at my mother's house. And so transitioning over here, I don't have my wall of superheroes, but I've got basic things up there that'll probably go to the bottom row. But as you can see, up here, these 3 comics here I framed a while ago. I'm using the exact same frames. These ones actually come with a white backing. So when I put the back on, you can see the white backing, but these ones, when you saw that I changed that comic book earlier, had a piece of cardboard in it, so it wouldn't have fit behind it, plus it wasn't white. So anyway, they're all just placeholders at the moment. I can always put a white piece of paper back in, and I'm sure when I finish everything off, they will look perfect. Actually, I know this aqua blue that comes around I really like, but going back, you know, if I go any further back, this is where my desk would be. So you want to have a happy environment. And, you know, I'm not going to be working with the light off. But to me, that looks pretty good. I don't have anything down the sides. I'm sure I'm going to have leftovers. So the ones that are a bit obscure comics, I'll put down that side to cover up that side bit. But at the moment, you go right in the middle of the room. You don't really tell that much at all. But everything is nice and square. It's not finished yet. Like I said, I've got to take all the comic books out and put the white backings in. So let's see if I can get that done in the next few days. Ciao, ciao.